Okay, Mega Comparison 2023. Oh, come in.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Yeah, I know you do this a lot.
Yeah, this is what I do every year. Compare all the puzzles.
You have a history of making really elaborate videos that people don't really watch.
Don't people want this?
I know people say they do and they're excited for it, but the views don't really show it.
I mean, it's a lot of work.
I've got a suggestion. Try just talking about the most popular ones. And maybe the new ones, but don't go through the history again.
I guess I could just do the main ones. What's new?
Let's just condense the video and talk about the newest puzzles and what's popular.
Yeah, I could do that.
But hey, stay objective. You know what? That's what people like about you. Huh?
Thank you. Hey, who are you?
Oh, this is you from the future. So,
yeah. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Okay. Keep up the good work.
Let's put these back.
Hey, Sean here from SpeedCubeReview.com. It is time for the mega comparison for 2023. There's been a ton of new companies that have come out lately, but a lot of them are either way crazy developments that don't seem to be doing too much, or it's the same thing with a different name. So let's go through that. First, let's just go through some of the companies and what has come out and talk about those puzzles. And let's talk about some of the smaller ones. So I have a little page open here so I can look through some of this. Some of these I will put the puzzles on the screen, show you right here. Some of them I'll just show you some old clips just to save some time in you watching me just fiddle with a puzzle that you know about. Hey everyone, this is me jumping in from the middle of the video back to here. I want to tell you this. Any puzzle I'm going to show you today can give you world record times. If you're looking at this to say which puzzle will give me the best times, they all will. It's whatever piques your interest most and will influence you to practice the most. Also, if you're starting out, something a little more controllable, which I'll talk about when we get to the puzzles. So you can spend $10 or $80 and you'll get the exact same times. Earlier this year, there was the MoreTry cube, specifically the MoreTry TianMa. And there were 4 different models of this. They ranged from the basic one that had magnets to one that had maglev core, double maglev core actually. It had like extra magnets there, as well as magnets within the pieces, and there was just 4 crazy different amounts. They called them the single magnet, double magnet, triple magnet, and super magnetic. Ranged from $15 up to $30. And they were all not bad. It kind of had a hollow feel, almost felt like an older MoYu cube that was updated with magnets and maglev. And honestly, I liked the puzzle. It wasn't too bad. I got some good times with it. It felt a little bulky, even though it was 55.5 millimeters. I think the 4 different variations was completely unnecessary and might have added a little more confusion to it. It definitely got their name in the game and people got interested into it. It wasn't a game changer, but a nice puzzle. Okay, now QiYi came out with the Black Mamba version 3 as their budget cube. Not bad, however, didn't have magnets and kind of was, I felt like unnecessary. If it had magnets, it could have been a good competitor for the top budget cube. They did come out with their Tornado version 3 later on, and I'm going to say that till the end of the video in the bigger comparisons. Let's keep going with this. DaYan came out with the MonsterGo EDU. $12 puzzle. It performs great. It performs like a older GAN puzzle that just has 48 magnets on it. And for $12 for something that is a GAN label, it's wonderful. It wouldn't be my first choice to give to someone, but their old MonsterGo was like $20 plus, which was way unnecessary. So for $12, yeah, it's a good puzzle. It definitely feels budget. It feels like that sort of matte plastic and kind of hollow inside, but go for it. Get it if you want a budget GAN feeling puzzle. GaN came out with the GaN 13. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then towards the end of the year, there was a bunch real quick. We had the MoYu Super RS3, which that one turned out really nice. I didn't like it so much, but maybe I'm wrong in that. DaYan came out with the TengYun version 3. Felt like it was a swing and a miss. There's a lot that you can do with it, but it wasn't at all like the TengYun version 1 or 2. I feel like what made 1 and 2 really special was it was quiet. It was felt very sturdy and kind of bubbly. This one just felt like a modern puzzle, but had nothing related to the older ones. I mean, I guess it's when they came out with the newer Zhanchi. Yeah, it's nothing like the old Zhanchis, just had the name on it. So it's okay. I can use it. I can get decent times on it. I mean, if I take it out right now, it performs fine. We have no magnet adjustment there. And we have these capsules that, to this day, I still don't think there's a difference between 1, 2, or 3. I can't find a difference. The clear center didn't work super great for tensioning. It was just like they were trying to mimic the GaN 11. Honestly, here, let me show you. This is my custom GaN 11 from MsCube shop. Look at that. It's the same. It's the same concept, possibly even the same technology. I don't know, but it's like they were trying to mimic that a couple years late. I didn't really like it on the 11. Definitely like it on this. I'm going to say it's just a hard pass for me. So if you like the TengYun 1 and 2, this is not the same sort of thing. And at the very end of the year, squeaked in the MsCube Ms3x, which is this one. And it comes in black plastic internals as well, so I will be showing that as a comparison. There's a ton of ways to adjust this. A ton of different ways. And I spent a long time adjusting the magnets, trying to get those in. I, at first, kind of praised this. I'm like, oh, it's a really cool puzzle if you want to do a lot of different adjustments and try things out. But you know what? It does the exact same adjustments as other puzzles. It just makes it harder. It makes it more difficult to do. Again, it's a fine puzzle. And actually, hold on. I'm going to say something that I'm going to throw at the beginning of the video. So if you sing this now, this is what I said at the beginning. Okay. Back to this. Yeah. Completely unnecessary. I'm just going to put this back in. Wait, where did it come from? Oh, it was sitting out of the case. And lastly, let's go over some of the brands. Let's see here. Cyclone Boy has been doing nothing. Dancing, you did something. Oh, you came up with a Solar S. That's what you had. Yeah, there was a new Solar that came out. It's not listed on MsCube shop's site when I'm reading this, but it's a budget puzzle. It's a fine budget puzzle, but that's about it. Peak Cube, I talked about that last year. There's a ton of stuff you can do with the puzzle, but again, it's kind of like the MsCube. Why do you have it so difficult to do all this stuff? It's not really enough change to put in all that work. Rubik's came out with some nicer versions of the puzzle. Great for starting out and even great for competition. You just won't see the fastest solvers in the world using it at a WCA competition. Yushin has not really been doing too much. I don't know what they're up to. I'd love for them to come back. Last thing I did was a Little Magic version 2, which was a decent puzzle for a budget line. And nothing really from Shengshou. Honestly, the one company I'd love to see come back is Fangxi. Where'd you go? Make some speed cubes. I miss it. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. So I'm just going to take out all the major puzzles and put them right here. Okay, so we have some quick looks. MoreTry puzzle. You've got no adjustment settings there, but a ton of stuff to do underneath here, under the hood. It's fine. Nothing special. Nothing that I would say this is a game changer and you need to get this over any other puzzle. Let's first talk about GaN. And I had a recent comment on one of my videos, and actually Google or YouTube was like, hey, this is under review. I don't know. But it says, this person's just a GaN hater, because I have not liked the more recent GaN releases. I like the GaN X. GaN X was great. This is my special edition. It's very smooth, very quiet. The tension system was perfect. It was just a dial. I basically infinite amount of tensions there, and I could replace the springs with other colors if needed, but yellow is fine. The one that's out now is the GaN 13. You've got more magnetic adjustment than you have in the past. In the past, there's only 3. I believe there's 5 or 6 now. Under here, you have more tension adjustments here as well. It still feels a little bit convoluted. However, there is a tool right built in that you can use to adjust all of it in the case. And it's honestly an incredible box. I've used this a lot. I've tried to break it in. When the 11 came out, it was nice, but very light. The 12 added the UV coating, which is super glossy, and added stronger magnets. So when you're turning, it kind of auto aligns. However, it doesn't really do too much when you're actually solving, because this one's not doing it right now because it's just the 13. Because when you're solving, you're not just like letting it go. You're still controlling it. So that auto align doesn't really do much of anything. People had some catches. I don't think it was as big of a deal as other people said. And now we have the 13, which kind of is a mix between the 11 and the 12. It was used to set the world record with. The average of 5 of 4.86 was set with, again, 13. So it's definitely great. 56 millimeters, so it's the largest of all the modern puzzles. It's one of the lightest of all the modern puzzles, and it has, unless you add a lot of lubrication like I did, it has a very almost paper airy feeling compared to the rest. It's one of the lighter feeling puzzles. Not bad, but definitely if you want a larger puzzle and you don't mind paying a hefty price for it. Also, UV coating compared to just glossy plastic. So here's orange and there's different oranges. I want it similar enough. Okay, here's yellow. And we have UV coating on the left and just glossy plastic on the right. Not much difference. Let's talk about the QiYi Tornado. The Tornado version 2, we're not going to talk about the version 1. It's way different, completely different puzzle. Version 1 was really nice. It was 54.5 millimeters, so kind of small. And when is it Cuber's home? I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Yeah, Cuber's home. They came out with a core. They 3D printed a core that could be attached, and then you could add magnets to the core just to make it a little extra stable. And I loved it. Great magnetic adjustment system. Just turn it with a screw. And then a really simple adjustment system here. And you had to have a special tool for it. I've used a paper clip before, and I've also used the end of a nail clipper once because I had that around. So you don't always need to have that tool, but it definitely works best with it. I've been reluctant with these sort of setups. I've been very reluctant because the first couple times companies were doing that, I'm like, these are all way too loose. I've never had it where they're all way too tight. This was one of the first times I was like, oh, this is great. They're all, I've gone from like too tight to too loose. And what really sold people on this was how quiet it was. It was one of the more muted sounding puzzles compared to other ones. Version 3 came out. Primary plastic, similar magnet system, but the center you can now adjust with a little tab you pull up. Just like that. And they have 3 versions, one with the just regular magnets, one with magnetic core, and one with the maglev. They also have a different sort of maglev system where the magnets move like this to adjust the strength instead of just up or down, which worked really well. I can't tell a difference between the spring version and the maglev version enough to warrant spending the extra money on maglev. Springs not only are not bad, they're often nicer in most puzzles, and I think people need to realize maglev doesn't equal better. This is a little bit larger. It's 55 millimeters instead of 54.5. Last time I measured it, it was like 55.06 or 50, maybe 55.1 if I'm not pushing the caliper really tightly. But it's the smallest of all of the more modern puzzles. And that 1 millimeter or half a millimeter does make a difference in the hands. If you've never felt different puzzles like that, it makes a big enough difference. I really like it. It's not as quiet as the V2. Or maybe I'll say muted, but it's fairly close. It has a little more scratch to it, but a really wonderfully performing puzzle with 5 settings for magnets, elasticity, and tension that covers most of the grounds. Oh, and before we go on, the Tornado version 3 was also used to set the world record of 4.86 seconds by Max Park. So both the GaN 13 and the Tornado version 30 have been used to set the world record. All these puzzles you can get at speedcubeshop.com. If you use discount code SCR, you can save at checkout and help support the channel. Also, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It makes a big difference. And thank you everyone for getting me 200,000 subscribers. I did make a thank you video, but I just want to thank you again. Oh, GaN, the GaN Mini. So the GaN Mini came out about a year or so ago, and it was a flop. I don't know why. I know why. I know why it was a flop as far as people look at a 53mm puzzle and they're like, that's going to be too small for me. It's wonderful. I can do two-hand with it. I can do one-hand with it. It's basically a glorified GaN 11 or GaN 12. It's a glorified GaN 12 tensioning system, but the GaN 11 core. And it works great. When it initially came out, though, the core was messed up. They had to retool the manufacturing and reprint it, and I think by that time the hype had gone. So if you can get the Mini, it's a great one-handed puzzle. If you like GaN puzzles, it's light, it acts like the GaN 11 does, so it might not be my favorite feeling puzzle, but it checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. Okay, MoYu. This has been weird. So MoYu came out with last year the maglev WRM. I really liked their puzzles when they had the GTS2. And the WRM was very similar to the GTS2. The GTS2 still holds the world record for the single. Take that as you wish, because a single is not... I mean, I was third in North America for FMC for a single. So, yeah. But as they changed the main puzzles from the GTS2 to the GTS3, then the WRM, which was GTS3 without ridges, which was kind of confusing because of the name. And now they have this WM maglev 2021. And again, maglev, in this instance, completely useless. Purple internals, really cool, but can kind of be distracting for some people. Performance-wise, it's fine. It feels oddly stable and flexible. Like it feels like the pieces are very squared off, so it wants to keep a cubic shape, but it's kind of flexible. What would really help would be core magnets, and Cuber's Home has that, but MoYu hasn't updated it. Then they came out with this. This is the RS3 2022. No, they don't call it that. They call this the Super, right? Is that right? Am I saying that right? Yeah. This is the MoYu Super RS3M. And it's not Mofeng Xiaoxi anymore, even though it says that there. It's MoYu. MoYu's just calling it themselves at this point. And depending on what those colors are, it's either going to be just the magnet version, which is $10. Incredible. A $15 version with a ball core, or the $20 version with maglev. This is one of the only instances I suggest the maglev, because when you compress the springs, it's not like the Tornado where the magnets switch over like that. They just compress. And the springs compress so much that you have very limited movement. So you really actually want the maglev to give you a little more space. And now, how this was used to set the world record and that was used to set the world record, the third place is set with this. And also a sub 4-second solve. Wait, is that right? Yeah, a sub 4-second solve was used this puzzle. Used the RS3 Super, I believe it was the maglev and the core magnets and all that stuff for $20. So all of these are great puzzles. It's hard to really compare them besides just how they feel and perform. So if I was to do that, we have kind of the three main ones today, and we have very stable feeling. Like I actually had to work to make this more flexible. I had to find a tension that's looser than my normal tensions. I normally can't see around that corner piece for it to perform how I like it. I actually went back and did solves on these two to get used to them again. I didn't really solve with them because I didn't originally like them. The 13, I have it at a pretty good tightness. It can be very flexible. I mean, it's stable compared to other GaN puzzles because of the core magnets, but it's probably the most flexible of all the ones here. And the Tornado's somewhere in between. It's smaller than both of these, but it has some nice stability to it, but not so stable where I'm trying to loosen it. Like you can see here, you still can't really see around that corner piece, maybe a very little bit there. So yeah, any of these are great. Oh, no, not you again. Okay. Yes, what do you want?
I already know about all of these cubes. You've told me about them. I want your subjective opinion. What is the best cube?
But people... My big thing is that I try to be objective. You know, people can just choose what they like and see what interests them. Okay. Do you really want to know? So I went back and I've been trying each of these. And I've gotten sub 10 seconds on all of them. I get my really good times on all of them. But I don't like solving with these two just because the matte plastic, the size of it, and the stability of it. I want it to be a little bit more flexible than what this is. I really like what GAN has done, but their prices are ridiculous. At $20 compared to around $80, no, that is unnecessary. The Tornado starts at $25, and the one that is the flagship version with springs is about $32. So as far as price goes, this is about 60% more expensive than this, and this is about 400% more expensive. I like the feeling of this. I like the size of this. I like the easy adjustment of it, and I like the settings that you're able to get out of it, even though there are just 5 of each. If I wasn't going to use this at a competition, it was between these two, because you know I could say I'll use the other one that I have in stock. No, if it was between these three, I'm going with this one. It mainly because of the amount of adjustment I can do very easily with this tension system. MoYu don't ever change this. It's great. You've got a screw. You've got 8 or 9 tension settings that I could adjust actually just with my fingernail. It works well. All you need to do now is maybe make this a little bit more flexible and add some magnet adjustment there, and you're golden. But I can't with any sense say to get this for $80 when it's not going to help your times. It only might if you're only going to solve if you have a GAN puzzle. Now, if you want to spend $10 or less, get the super and then get just, you know, the $10 version of it. It works fine. It works really well. My special version, the 2020, that I preferred more because of the glossy plastic, but they're not going to be making that so much anymore. And so here's the newest one. These other ones are fine, but that's realistically what I would recommend. If you've been following any cubing this past year and watching the channel, none of this is probably new to you. If you're new to cubing, hopefully this helped you out. It was a little bit all over the place, but with all of the puzzles that are out there today, MoYu, QiYi, and GAN are really setting the bar. The other puzzles, MoreTry and the MsCube, and the other ones that I can't think off the top of my head, they work. They're trying new things. That's good. But they're not making it better. They're just different and more complicated. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. Leave your thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, keep following SpeedCube Review for more news and reviews.